Thunderbirds are go.
FAB. I only hope we're not too late.
Personnel approved. Assemble Mobile Armored Strike Command.
Good evening, everybody.
Take two.
Take two. All right. Before we get on, let me explain what the heck happened. All right. My computer completely froze up. I mean, it froze everything. It even knocked us offline. So, as a result,
You couldn't even do Control Alt Delete. Like,
yeah.
normally for me or any of the other computers that I've had, that would bring it up to where I could have the option to restart the computer, open up Task Manager.
Fuck, I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how bad that was.
Yeah. So, as a result, it knocked us offline completely. So, what we're going to do is we're going to restart the episode. We're going to do this in an hour. If we have to go to 11 p.m., so be it. Okay?
Oh, my.
Seriously. Because I'm willing to do it. Because, like, I went to the
Me
trouble to
too.
make this. I went to the trouble to make this. And we're going to make this work. Okay? So, anyway, it is Wednesday night, so happy hump day. Also, happy 60th anniversary to the Flintstones, happy 55th anniversary to Thunderbirds, and happy 35th anniversary to Mask. So, this is what we're doing tonight. Instead of Rant Rocket Wednesday, it's going to be Rant Rocket Thursday tomorrow. Just for the 1 week. So, anyway, I'm your host for tonight. I'm Oddball Extreme. Of course, if you see my name, it's actually Shirley A. Burton.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
forgot
realize
we
that.
forgot to rename ourselves again.
Oops.
Tech error. No, that was a human error.
Yep. Oops.
I'm happy now.
Okay, let me fix it. That's not the right thing. I actually went to grid to the like the
There we
dominant
go.
speaker.
I
Okay.
got it.
Okay, I gotta do mine too.
Actually,
Hang on.
you want to know something?
What?
Ash actually lead us to it. She was the first one to change her name. That was
Yep.
hilarious.
Oh, my.
But yeah, we forgot.
Normally she would be the one to remind me to change my name.
Yeah, but anyway, now my name is correct. It says Oddball Extreme. There we go.
What
All right.
did it say before?
My name, Shirley A. Burton.
Yeah, and mine was Mike Boyens as usual.
Yep. Alright, so anyway, I'm your host for tonight. I'm Oddball Extreme. I'm currently joined on the line by 4 of my crazy cohorts. First, we've got Spirit Spotter Tim. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Medea.
We also have our resident Joker, Mike. Hello, Mike.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Take two. Ding.
Hump day! Happy hump day!
Happy Hump Day. Take 2. Ding. And let's see, we also have our resident Oracle, Ashley. Hello, Ashley.
Hello, hello.
And we also have resident Star Child, Janet. Hello, Janet.
Hello! And just remember, people, technology is just like the weather, totally unpredictable at times.
Yeah. I just hope it doesn't foul me up for my interview tomorrow, but I'm going to use my laptop tomorrow. So that way they won't have to see all this stuff behind me.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I
anyway.
just now saw your message, Oracle.
Oh,
Okay, well,
Oh,
since
God.
everybody's changing their names, I
Uh-huh.
will have to change mine.
Yeah, you better change yours to Star Child like it's supposed
You're
to
the,
be.
you're the last one left to do it.
Oh,
That is
shoot.
what you get it done. Done yet?
I know there's some kind of day where you can change your name. I forgot what day. I forgot what the date was. I think it's in February or something.
Oh, goodness.
All right. So anyway, first things first, we're going to go to the Flintstones since it's the oldest one. It's 60 today. And by the way, here's something you don't know.
60.
Yep. Here's something you may not know. The Flintstones were originally named the Flagstones.
Oh, my.
All right. So we're going to try this again. Take 2. And call me in the morning. What's new? I really don't care. That's Discord. I'm sorry. Okay, now the good news is that link was already there, but I'm going to have to re-put the link back in here. I think I may have had too many things open at the same time. That may have been what happened. Okay. All right, here we go. We're going to take two. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to skim through these guys because, it does take up a lot of space and I really want to cover all three shows if you know what I mean. So, let's get it on. All right, so, in a nutshell, we know the Flintstones is the one of the most wholesome family shows ever made. It was the first ever primetime cartoon show, but there were a few little surprises in here, like grown-ups only, but children welcome. I'll put it this way.
Dark subject matter?
Yeah, yeah. They had some adult themes, but they still had time to because in a nutshell, the fantasy setting had a prehistoric Earth that got kids excited alongside grown-up themed storylines and laugh-out-loud comedy sequences. And it was also one of the first animated shows to feature a laugh track, something usually only seen in grown-up sitcoms.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because you can see by the picture, you got Betty crying, Fred struggling with a slot machine, and of course, Fred and Wilma fighting as usual.
Oh my.
Yeah, and then of course, the Flintstones vitamins are actually not that healthy. So
Oh,
basically,
really?
yeah. In 1968, the Flintstones complete chewable multivitamins were marketed as the ideal supplement for young children. But it turns out, it's not as healthy as they think. Because an article by Spoon University, yes, that's a real university, Spoon. Where's Fork? That's
Ah,
Exactly.
Let's see. It delved deep into the ingredients used to create the vitamins and found some disturbing results. The vitamins contain a sweetening agent, sorbitol, which is like sugar alcohol, an ingredient usually found in laxatives, meaning children are at risk of nausea, stomach cramps, and severe diarrhea if they take too many vitamins. The vitamins also have a high percentage of artificial colors and flavors in them and contain fructose, another sugar linked to obesity and diabetes. Which makes me glad I don't take some of that stuff. Okay, number 23, Barney's attempt to say goodbye. Basically, I remember what happens in this episode. Uh, Barney and Betty find a little boy named Bam Bam and they try to adopt him. But there's a bit of a legal battle with the boy's real parents. And then when they lose the rights to adopt him, Barney's considering ending his own life. And he almost does, but thankfully Fred talks him out of it. And the good news is, Barney and Betty get to adopt Bam Bam. So, so yes, it was practically the first case of adopting a child too. Let's see, at number 22, they were comic book heroes in 2016. Yes, they had a 12-issue limited series by DC Comics, and it received positive reviews and a darkly modern take on the animated series. And here's the summary. Welcome to Bedrock, where Paleolithic humans head to dinner for a taste of artisanal mammoth after shopping at Neanderthal and big men's clothing. Get it?
Yes.
Oh
Join,
my.
Join Fred and Barney and Mr. Slate send someone on a mission to show some Neanderthals a night on the town in hopes of luring them into this new system called Working for a Living, in Slate's quarry, of course. Let's see. The series addressed important issues such as marriage, racism, and war veterans, even featuring a gay relationship in one issue. The main characters are more defined in the comic with greater fleshed out personalities. Then number 21 is Dino's One Night Creepy Adventure. Let's see. Dino gets the hots for the next door neighbor's dino pet, and the feeling appears to be mutual. While we thankfully don't see the two consummate their relationship on screen, there is an episode featuring the neighbor's dinosaur with a litter of puppies and Dino standing over them as a proud Dino dad. But that's the last we see of Dino's girlfriend and his children through the series, making the writer wonder just what kind of father Dino really is. Uh, let's see, number 20, the prehistoric SmackDown. Yes, the Flintstones and the WWE join forces. And yes, the crossover of these two highly liked properties doesn't really make any sense on paper. It was an obvious way for Warner Brothers Studios and WWE Studios to combine their marketing skills and release an animated film to appeal to both sets of fans. And the film featured many big name stars as The Undertaker, Daniel Bryan, and John Cena. Let's see. The film actually got some good reviews, and when released in 2015, was the first new Flintstones production in over 14 years, and the first without original creators William Hanna and Joseph Barbera's input, as both had since passed away. And then number 19, of course, is the Flagstones, because that was the original name. Let's see. When the show was picked up and went into production, the name was briefly changed to the Gladstones, also a popular telephone exchange line in Los Angeles during the show's creation. So as not to be mixed up with the Flagstones, the cartoon characters from the comic strip Hi and Lois. The Gladstones soon morphed into the Flintstones, a much more suitable title, and the show was ready to air in September of 1960. Let's see, at number 18, No More Gay Old Time. It's because of Anderson Cooper. Okay? As he took
That's
offense.
where we lived off.
That's where we left off. He basically said he took offense to the use of the phrase gay old time. And unfortunately, with such a large platform, it didn't take long for other pundits and prominent media identities to jump on board with Cooper's sentiments, eventually forcing Warner Brothers Animation to substitute the word gay in the song. What it is, we have no idea. Alright, number 17. Did Fred and Betty have,
No, that's where we left off.
Yes. Where she would see Fred and Wilma bicker quite a bit, but Fred and Betty got along well during the show and often seemed to be flirting with each other. It would make sense Fred would be attracted to Betty, as she was quite the opposite of Wilma. The same can be said of Betty being attracted to Fred, who was a strong and forceful man as opposed to the mild-mannered Barney. Although there is no proof the two engaged in an extramarital affair, it's more than likely the two shared some off-screen chemistry together. That's certainly possible. Let's see, number 16. I think this one's pretty obvious. The influence by the Honeymooners. So it was one of the most popular shows on air during the development of the Flintstones, and many have spotted the similarities between the two. The Honeymooners was based on a sketch show created by and starring Jackie Gleason about a working-class husband and wife and the daily struggles they encountered. Hanna-Barbera took the husband and wife dynamic and placed it in the Stone Age, and Fred Flintstone based on Jackie Gleason's Honeymooners character, Ralph Cramden. Although very similar, Joe Barbera had always been adamant that the shows each had their own identity. Because they would say, did you copy the Honeymooners? That's what some people said. But, the Honeymooners don't have all the gags that we had in there. Let's see, number 15. Fred and Barney enjoyed a dart. As in Winston cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, drinking and smoking were heavily advertised through the media, and not even the Flintstones could escape their presence. Winston cigarettes were one of the major sponsors of the Flintstones, and because of this, were present in the series. At the end of each episode, a short black and white commercial showed Fred and Barney trying to get out of working in their yards by lighting up a Winston cigarette. Of course, within a decade, advertising cigarettes on television and radio was banned by the Public Health Cigarette Smoking Act, with the Flintstones leaving Winston behind and going on to promote the slightly healthier Welch's grape juice. Let's see, number 14, Fred Flintstone's addictive personality. He would have, he would always have a gambling problem, because if you remember, if anyone mentioned the word bet, he would go, bet, 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 like that. I remember. But let's see, he was a massive gambler and found it hard to say no to having a punt. He can be seen throughout the show playing the slot machines or having a round of poker, and no doubt he would have been a regular at the local Dino racing track. He also liked to drink and had a fondness for showgirls. He was featured in advertising for Bush Beer, and his love of unclothed women was illustrated in one episode where his bowling club, the Loyal Order of the Water Buffaloes, hired some ladies of the night as entertainment for a party. Number 13, Fred and Wilma share a bed. Of course.
What?
No, basically, you know because I think even back in the 50s, the couples were not sharing the bed yet.
Right.
But
Right.
anyway, the animated series depicted Fred and Wilma in bed together without making the scenes overly intimate. The shots of the two in bed usually show the two discussing some kind of important matter before turning off the lights and going to sleep. It might not sound like much with what is shown on television today, but for that time period, that was a massive deal. Let's see. Infertility storyline and animated first. Oh, I didn't know this. Let's
Really?
see. What?
I need to ask you a quick question, and it doesn't involve the Flintstones.
Okay.
When you set up your new tablet, did you use your SD card as portable storage in addition to the
Yes.
transferring internal storage?
Yeah, I do.
So will it still transfer my internal storage?
It can if for most cases, yes.
Okay, because I've been using it strictly as internal storage.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, anyway, another heavy issue the Flintstones dealt with during its run was the infertility of Barney and Betty. Good friends of Fred and Wilma were a loving couple who always seemed to be happy. When it was revealed the two couldn't have children, we saw a different side of the two characters. This was a pretty serious issue to be dealt with in a kids' television show, and although it flew over most children's heads, grown-ups no doubt understood the emotions the Rebels experienced. The Rebels' inability to have a child was compounded when the Flintstones gave birth to Pebbles. It also marked the first time an animated television series had involved the issue of infertility in an episode, but not all was lost for the Rebels, with the couple eventually adopting Bam Bam. Let's see, what's this? Pebbles gender swap for cash? Okay, let's see. Oh, Pebbles was originally supposed to be a boy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Uh, what else? A boy chip. Let's see. That's too bad. I have the ideal toy. If it was a girl, we could make a heck of a deal. Without missing a beat, Barbara replied, "It's a girl." Let's see. Ooh, Seth MacFarlane had a reboot planned, but it was abandoned. And I'm gonna say to that is thank God. Let's see. The problem was McFarlane's script was deemed good, but not good enough. Things went quiet on the reboot, and haven't heard much since. That was until a fan asked McFarlane about the project status during a Reddit AMA in 20, I think it was 15. As of now, probably not. He wrote, "Honestly, I couldn't figure out a way to find enough differentiation between a modern day Fred Flintstone and Peter Griffin." So let's see.
Peter
Number
Griffin?
9. Yeah, number 9. Oh, I remember this one. Remember not too long ago there was a Flintstones house in California that turned into an eyesore for some people?
Yeah.
But anyway,
There was an actual attraction, one of those roadside attractions.
yeah, but this is a house.
Yeah, but there was also a roadside attraction. I
Yeah, I
can't
know.
remember exactly where.
Yeah, it
It
may
was
be.
called Bedrock.
Yeah, it may be in here. But anyway, it might look like an eyesore to some, but the famed Flintstone house in the affluent suburb of Hillsborough, California, has become an unofficial South Bay landmark. Built by architect William Nicholson in 1976, the one-of-a-kind construction is very similar to Fred and Wilma's Flintstone's house. The house features 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a domed living room ceiling with a view overlooking the Crystal Springs Reservoir. Corey Edisis purchased the property in 1996 for around $800,000, the equivalent of about 1.23 million today, and has been trying to sell the house since 2015, finally getting a buyer last year. Originally listed at 4.2 million, they settled for 2.8, earning a rather substantial profit in the process. While we can't say the kind of house I want to live in, it's certainly an interesting structure and one sure to attract attention. Let's see. The Bedrock Hillbillies. Let's see. The setting of the Flintstones was another major factor in its longevity and success, but things could have been very different with a number of other eras suggested for the time period of the show. Hanna-Barbera experimented with a number of unique scenarios, including setting the Flintstones during the Roman Empire, which eventually became the Roman holidays, and then the early 1600s when America was founded by the Pilgrims. The idea of the Flintstones being Native Americans was also discussed before eventually settling on prehistoric Earth. The reason behind this was because it was easy to take anything that was current and set it in the Stone Age. These other ideas didn't go to waste, though, with the hillbilly theme turning up in the episodes The Bedrock Hillbillies and The Hat Rocks and the Gruesomes, and the Roman theme resulting in the Hanna-Barbera animated kids show, The Roman Holidays, as I mentioned earlier. The voice of Barney, Mel Blanc, was in a near fatal car crash. But anyway, let's see. He had having voiced Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Woody Woodpecker, and so forth. Blank was driving a sports car when he crashed head on into a car driven by an 18-year-old student on Sunset Boulevard. The young lad received minor injuries, but Blank suffered a triple skull fracture, along with fractures to both legs and his pelvis. He spent 2 weeks in a coma and was in the hospital for almost 2 months, but that didn't stop him from voicing the beloved Barney. Recording apparatus were set up in his hospital room and at his home when he was finally released so he could record his lines. Points!
Kudos.
You know what I would call that? The original working from home.
Oh yeah, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, there's your original version of working from home. I never knew that. All right. How many writers does it take to script the Flintstones? Let's see. The Flintstones live action film was a box office smash, earning over $342 million dollars on a budget of just $46 million. Not bad. It would seem like a way to print money, but the film was in development heck for close to 9 years before eventually getting the green light to go into production. An article by Entertainment Weekly detailed how producers Keith Parrish and Joel Silver commissioned Stephen E. D'Souza to write a script for a Flintstones movie in 1985. Over the course of the following 9 years, the script went through a multitude of changes, with 2 producers, 2 directors, 14 screenwriters, and 18 TV gag writers involved in its creation. Even Steven Spielberg was attached at one point.
What?
Yep. Oh, Danny DeVito was Barney Rubble?
Uh-huh.
That would have been weird. Let's see. John Goodman had been headhunted for the role of Fred Flintstone. While Spielberg was attached to the project, he suggested Goodman after working with him on the film Always. Thankfully, Goodman said yes after looking at a variety of other actors, including Chevy Chase, Jim Belushi, and Bill Murray. The producers realized they were too skinny and needed someone with Goodman's shape. The other main male actor that needed to be cast was Barney Rubble. It's believed Danny DeVito was the first choice for Barney, but turned down the role because he believed his voice didn't fit the character. I believe that one, honestly. He's said to have recommended Rick Moranis for the role, who producers loved and cast as Barney. And speaking of which, the disappearance of Rick Moranis. Let's see, he made a name for himself in the 80s with Ghostbusters, Spaceballs, Little Shop of Horrors, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Um, Scoring the role of Barney Rubble in the Flintstones live action was his biggest break yet, but soon after the film's release, the actor disappeared. That was because his wife had passed away from cancer in 1991. After filming a few more movies in the years after, Moranis realized it was acting or his children and chose to bring up his children as a single parent. So, points to him for that. But now he is doing a little bit of acting again, so. Next up, the Jetsons inspired by the Flintstones. That's a given. Not surprised. So basically, the Jetsons was with Flintstones set in the future. And of course, there was that 1987 movie, The Jetsons Meet the Flintstones. So,
Mm-hmm.
because somehow the Jetsons ended up in the prehistoric age and the Flintstones ended up in the future. Let's see. Flintstone sequel, a prequel, thanks to John Goodman. There was any doubt another Flintstones movie would get made after the first live-action adaptation of the cartoon series made hundreds of millions of dollars. You'd think after the film doing so well, the original cast would went back in, but that was not the case with the Flintstones. After years of development, the film was finally ready to go by the late 90s, but Goodman refused to return, having a full plate of acting gigs and thinking it was too long a wait between films. And the rest of the cast followed too. And believe it or not, the Flintstones live-action movie was Elizabeth Taylor's final film role.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, the producers of the Flintstones desperately wanted Taylor in the film and got her to accept the small role as Pearl Slaghoople by donating the proceeds from the film's premiere to her AIDS foundation, a cause Taylor was very involved with. And by the way, Slaghoople, that's Wilma's maiden last name.
Huh.
Wilma Slaghoople. The film turned out to be Taylor's last theatrically released film, with the dame spending the next 15 years pursuing her philanthropic endeavors between small television roles. She eventually passed away in 2011 at the age of 79. But yes, that was her last film. That's as shocking as finding out Orson Welles' last movie was the Transformers the movie.
It
So,
is kind of fantastic, isn't it?
it is. All right, now we have finally finished with the Flintstones.
Next.
Next, all right, let's get to Thunderbirds fun facts. 60s show, not the Thunderbirds that go from the
Not the Thunderbirds Ago 2015.
15, right. Right. Although that show is now 5 years old too.
Well, it's got another 15 to go.
Mhm. All right. Let's see. Oh, even Me TV got something on it. Nice. I like that. Okay. So let's get that into the chat here. Yeah. When even Me TV gets involved, that means something.
Yep.
Okay, put that in there. All right. All right. Now this was back on April 20th, 2016 by the Me TV staff. So here are 11 soaring facts about Thunderbirds. The daring puppets took inspiration from real life. And by the way, if you go to Facebook or YouTube possibly, check out the Anderson Entertainment page because there's like a new 30-minute special about
Oh,
the
did it premiere today?
Yes, it did.
Did it premiere on my end? What's it called?
No, not
First?
for not First Action Bureau. This is different. This has to do with Thunderbirds. It's basically this 30-minute special tells what actually inspired the Thunderbirds to get made. It had to do with a mining rescue in Germany.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You mean there was a big mining rescue in Germany before the one in Chile?
Yeah. This was like only a couple years before Thunderbirds came on. I think it was like
Oh, nice.
62 or 63.
So it's on Jerry Anderson Entertainment. Anderson Entertainment.
Yeah, it should be on both
page?
YouTube and Facebook.
Okay.
I looked at the first part and was like, that is interesting. I've always wanted to see where the inspiration for it came from.
Well, now you know, and knowing's half the battle.
Yep.
Is Oracle still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And I know you are too, Mike.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know Oracle said, I've got to watch these things. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you want to see Thunderbirds, it's on Amazon Prime, Shout Factory TV. Thunderbirds A Go is on Amazon Prime, but I want that last season because they find Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So anyway, the 11 soaring facts about Thunderbirds. 1. It was inspired by tragedy. Thunderbirds was inspired by the Wunder von Lenjade, the miracle of Lenjade, a famous mine collapse in West Germany. In 1963, 11 miners were rescued from the mine after surviving 14 days underground. The creators of Thunderbirds were inspired by the rescue mission and decided to create the show about a daring rescue organization. Let's see. Number 2, the puppets were pretty big. Despite looking small on television, the puppets used in the series were about a third the size of humans. The puppets measured approximately 22 inches tall. That's pretty tall for a puppet. Let's see. Number 3, the puppets were also modeled after celebrities. The faces of the Thunderbirds characters were inspired by some of the biggest movie stars of the day, including Lauren Green, Adam Faith, and Charlton Heston. In fact, the character Brains was modeled after Anthony Perkins, who famously played Norman Bates in the Hitchcock classic Psycho. That's a weird, creepy thought. Let's see. Number 4, the show only lasted 2 seasons. Just 32 episodes were produced over the course of 2 seasons in 1965 and 66. Each episode was an hour long, a first for children's programming in the United
Oh,
Kingdom.
wait a minute. A few of them were half hours.
What happened was they were full hours, but they were split into 2 parts. The second season, I remember. Let's see. It was a first for programming in the United Kingdom, though in some instances they were split and broadcast in 2-part installments. Now, number 5, I could probably believe this one. The U.S. could be to blame for its cancellation. It was reported Thunderbirds had been canceled after British TV executives couldn't sell the series to a network in the United States. Even though the series was widely successful during its first run in the UK, the executives believed they couldn't afford to produce more episodes without the financial backing of a U.S. network sale. Of course, the only Jerry Anderson series ever to make it on a major U.S. network, Fireball XL5 on NBC in 1963. All right, number six, the characters were named after astronauts. I know that one. The Tracy brothers were named after some of the Mercury 7, a team of NASA astronauts in the early 1960s. See, there was Virgil Grissom, Alan Shepard. I forgot Scott's last name. I'll worry about that later. All right. Anyway, number seven, Thunderbirds are still popular today. 50 years after Thunderbirds premiered on British television, the series remains popular around the world. Last year, the channel ITV revived the series with Thunderbirds Are Go. The CGI animated series debuted on Amazon. This was back in 2016. Earlier this month, for all the U.S. fans eager to catch the remake. I am still not happy with Amazon. I want that last season. Okay? Because
You
guess
and
what?
me both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's the reason why. In the last season, you see, in this new version, Jeff Tracy's missing. They find him at the end.
I believe it.
Uh-huh.
And one of my favorite parts, besides them finding Jeff, is when Grandma gives the mechanic what am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one other thing on this one, Jeff Tracy
Grandma.
himself in the Thunderbirds That Go remake, the voice behind it, the $6 million man,
Yep.
Lee Majors.
And he did it good too.
He did pretty good. All right, number eight. The show got creative with its props. In the episode "Attack of the Alligators," real baby alligators were used, which prompted a visit from the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
Okay.
So, all right, number nine. The puppets had a bad habit. Television sure has changed since the 1960s. Many of the puppets on the kids program can be seen smoking, which is more or less normal back then. Fast forward to 2002, when critics asked for all cigarettes in the series to be digitally removed in reruns. The BBC said no thanks, claiming the show didn't glorify smoking and it was crucial to the plot.
And then what is my problem here?
I don't know, you tell me. Let's see. The merchandise was popular. The revenue generated from the sale of merchandise for Thunderbirds was so great in the UK, it wasn't surpassed until Star Wars was released more than a decade later. And the toys are still popular today. And finally, number 11. Real events inspired the episodes. The episode Terror in New York City, when the Empire State Building was moved, was inspired by a real life story about a department store in Japan that remained open while it changed locations. Of course, after 9/11, this episode was not shown as often because, it wasn't a terrorist attack, but it was a building coming down. So, all right. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And as far as I know, from the original series, there are only two voice actors that are still alive: David Graham and Matt Zimmerman.
And I got a little David Graham story.
Go ahead.
I was doing another show with a young man in England, and he had David Graham on the show
Mm-hmm.
promoting Thunderbirds. And I had Parker give me a shout out on the show.
Yeah.
He said hello to me in Parker's voice.
I think I've still got it on my computer. Let me see if I can find it. I think I've still got it. Let me see. Yeah, bear with me, Growl.
And hopefully the computer works fine. this
Yeah,
time.
right now, so far so good. I think what happened was I must have had way too many things open.
Oh my.
Yeah, that was probably what happened. But now it's like I don't have too many windows. In fact, let me see. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, okay, I think I found it. Now, give me just a second here. Because it's over. Yeah, time and space, David Green. Yeah, I got it. Okay, good. Let's see if I can get it to that moment.
But hey, I'm like, thank you, Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so very much.
Okay.
You can do a pretty good Parker yourself.
Guess I can, milady.
That's him to a T.
See, this is how he sounds. And for this, he was actually inspired by a waiter at a restaurant. Seriously, that's true.
Wow.
And amazingly, here's something David Graham was one of the first voices of the Daleks.
Now
The,
that I
the
did not know.
Daleks? Really?
Yeah, yes. When the show was first on in the 60s, he was one of the first voices of the Daleks.
Whoa.
Ooh, where did that one?
Okay, all right. Looks like it's not going to cooperate with me, so I'm just not going to
Well, it's
panic.
okay.
It's
You
okay.
can set it later.
Yeah. So we're not going to worry about that right now. Okay. All right. So now it's on to the third show we're celebrating tonight. Mask. 1985. It's like I was a kid, and believe it or not, I had Mask toys like crazy myself. I had Thunderhawk. I had Condor. I had what was it? I think I had Piranha, Volcano Van.
God damn, Shirley.
Yeah.
You had a lot.
Oh yes, I did. Oh yeah, I also had Vampire. Okay. Yeah, let's see.
I'm gonna update all of my.
Okay. Well, here's the good news. I actually found an article, and the person I have to thank for this is Doug Stone, who's the voice actor of Matt Tracker.
Yay!
Yeah. So let me see. I hope you got. If let me see. Can we get this to work? Hold on. Bear with me, growl. All right. So yeah, this is on a Drive Google. It's basically a PDF. But see, there's Thunderhawk right there in the cover, and there's Boulder Hill right there in the background. I was like, yeah. And by the way, this thing is downloadable.
Does that mean we get a copy of it?
Yeah, you can download it. Okay, now let me go to page 22 here.
All right. Just stick it in my Facebook chat. It's
Okay.
easier for me to get it.
Okay. Whoop. I went too far. Okay. All right. Now, there's no way I can read everything in this article. Okay. But let's see. Give me just a second here. All right, Janet, can you get it in the Zoom chat?
I can try.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna put this in the Zoom chat here. It's a long link, so I apologize. All right. So anyway, this is from the magazine Retrofied, and basically this is what was responsible. And I'll tell you something. Doug Stone actually did not realize today was the 35th anniversary.
Who didn't?
Oh my.
Yeah. Until I posted something on his Facebook page. Yes, Doug Stone has a Facebook. And I'm friends with him.
Nice.
Yep. But anyway, if you were a kid from like 1985 to 1988 like I was, oh yeah. There was Star Wars, G.I. Joe, He-Man, She-Ra, My Little Pony, and Lego. But then, of course, in the mid-80s, there was Mask. And and some people said it's the reason you picked up the magazine. No, it's like, I know it's 35 years old. But anyway, what this author does is, instead of, Mask M period A period S period K period, he took it out and just left it like Mask with no periods. Uh, Mobile Armored Strike Command. Yes, that command is spelled with a K. May have been a bit forced, but it's like, so that makes sense. And see, and of course, Venom was the vicious evil network of mayhem, but who cares? See, what was interesting was Kenner was jumping on the bandwagon with the Mask toys in 1985, and it was not a direct copycat of Hasbro's Transformers or Tonka's GoBots, because you didn't have robots turning into vehicles. You have vehicles basically having two modes, and regular people driving them.
Uh-huh. Oops.
Yeah, it's like why play with a
Don't
car?
need to see that.
It's like why play with a car that can transform into a robot when you could play with a motorcycle that transforms into a helicopter, or a helicopter that transforms into a jet. That's Condor and Switchblade, or a pit stop gas station that turns into a catapult that flings spare tires. Pit stop catapult. Now, take a look at this picture right here. Would you believe this is the original design for the slingshot vehicle?
It's a little silly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks weird, but thank goodness they came up on the best design. But yeah, let's
Okay, I've
see.
got to.
And by the way, I don't know if you're noticing this, but see the little sub headlines here? Masked Crusaders working overtime fighting crime. That's the lyrics to the theme song.
Oh my.
Yeah, Masked Crusaders working overtime fighting crime. Yes, that's it. Let's see, and um, yeah, Bill Kramer was like the designer for all these vehicles. When they got them originally. So this is pretty. It was like this was pretty cool. I like. It's an interesting concept what they did. Let's see. And see, look, secret raiders who will neutralize as soon as they arrive. That's in the lyrics too. Now, here are all the vehicles. Let's see. There's Jackhammer, Piranha, Gator, Thunderhawk, Rhino, Switchblade, Condor, and the extremely rare Boulder Hill playset. That was probably the hardest thing to get. But let's see. So
Come
when
on.
so when Masks made it into the cartoon business, DIC Entertainment was the one behind it. Of course, they had done Inspector Gadget, Rainbow Bright, Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling, and Jason the Wheel Warriors. So when they decided to get the voices in there, one of the first ones was Doug Stone, because and they were trying to get voice actors from Canada, and of course he's from Canada. So um, this is what he said. I was in Toronto at the time, so my earliest communications were via my agent who was speaking to DIC in Los Angeles. As I recall, we only got a basic outline of the show, and frankly, I was primarily interested in the characters themselves. I learned more about the show details as things progressed. I recall seeing the initial drawings and descriptions of the characters and their personalities, which is pretty standard. I don't recall being given a lot of direction as to the voices themselves at first. I auditioned, given my basic take on them all, based on the visuals and limited information. Frankly, I think they were pretty happy with my initial takes on the characters. I don't recall there being a great many changes from my original takes on the characters to the final voices. Most of the direction I was given was about nuances they wanted. And Sharon Noble, the only woman in the entire voice cast, of course, she voiced Vanessa, Gloria, and the Mass Computer. We actually knew very little about the series when we auditioned. Now, Sharon Noble's husband, of course, is Brendan McCain, the voice of Miles Mayhem and Alex Sector. We had just moved from Canada to Los Angeles. On our third day in town, our hosts and longtime friends took us to the beach where we met a fellow actor who told us about a new cartoon series that was seeking Canadian actors who had not yet joined SAG. Of course, that's the Screen Actors Guild. We had both done substantial voice work in Canada, and we were just about to join SAG, so we hastened to set up an audition. The two women I read for were, of course, Gloria and Vanessa. Easy. The character descriptions were clear and presented no problem at all. I was given no suggestions as to voice quality or delivery, so I was free to explore. So as you can tell, when you hear Gloria and Vanessa, they sound so starkly different. But the computer didn't have a personality, which made it a little difficult. So she would have to talk like this, and so
Oh
forth and so on.
my.
Well, let's see. In addition to Doug Stone and Sharon Noble, the remainder of the small cast consisted of Mark Halloran, known for his impressions, which came across in his voices for Sly Rat, Cliff Dagger, Buddy Hawks, and more. Gray McKenna, who was the voice of Brad Turner, T-Bob, and others. And Brendan Thicke, of course, who's the voice of Scott Tracker. And here's something you may not know about Brendan Thicke himself. He is one of the sons of Alan Thicke, and he's the younger brother of singer Robin Thicke.
Okay, Alan Thicke is the only one I'm familiar with.
Growing Pains.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But Robin Thicke, you remember he had that lawsuit with that song. I forgot the name of it, but yeah. Once the cast was assembled, the recording process ran like a well-oiled machine. Noble recalls, we received scripts and storyboards when they arrived, and we began our work within a day or two. In the studio, we discussed potential problems or tossed around ideas as we went along. But the show was so perfectly cast, we knew what was required, and we all had the skills and experience to produce a finished product in 2 hours. We usually completed two scripts during a 4-hour recording session. Nice. Let's see. The adults were able to record together except Brendan Thicke because he was just a child at the time. And he was working under the supervision of Marcia Goodman, the voice director. Let's see. Episodes were set in different locales, and let's see. And of course, and for those you don't know, Bryn McCain, who voiced Miles Mayhem, was recently diagnosed with mesothelioma, a type of lung cancer caused by exposure to asbestos. His treatment includes surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation, and the medical bills are astronomical. His wife, Sharon Noble, has set up a GoFundMe account, which I have contributed to, by the way, to help pay for the bills. And I'll give that. I'll give that. I'll give that. I'll get that link right here because I have contributed to it. So,
Hmm.
and they've gotten past the 5,000 mark. Yay! They did it.
That will really help
Mm-hmm.
because if he's doing chemo and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you know, that
Mm-hmm.
shit can get expensive.
Yes, it
If I
can.
didn't have insurance, the chemo drugs I'm taking
Uh-huh.
would cost me more than an arm and a leg and a half an ear.
I believe it. I totally
I
believe
was
it.
taking two, but they removed one.
Mm-hmm.
I was taking two chemo drugs and they removed one, so I'm down to one. And it's still expensive because I've seen the cost of the chemo drugs I've been taking.
Oh yeah.
They're not cheap.
No. But yeah. Sharon had put this update back on September 24th, last week. I have a bit of what may be good news today. We had a doctor visit, and the doctor said Brendan is doing a little better with his chemotherapy. The fluid in his lung has not returned at this point. We're hoping this means he will be in a condition to have the surgery when he finishes two more rounds of chemo. Thank you for all the support. It means a lot to Brendan. He has been so very surprised and rewarded by the warm response from so many of you. It has touched his heart and mine as well. Thank you. And of course, it's from Sharon Noble.
His wife, I take it.
Yep. I didn't even know they were
No,
married.
Miles Mayhem. Hey, you want to know something? Mayhem is too stubborn.
Yeah.
He'll make
I wonder. Yeah, here's what I wonder: how Miles and Vanessa would could they go to each other naturally because they're husband and wife?
Vanessa. You look after your daddy, and don't let Miles run over you.
Yeah.
Hey, Shirley,
Yes.
speaking of Robin Thicke, was the song happened to be called Blurred Lines?
Yes, that's it.
That received criticism for being misogynistic and promoting rape culture.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the one. I knew
I
he had
took
that
the liberty
song.
of looking it up
I
for
knew
you.
he had gotten in trouble with a song. I just couldn't remember the name of the song off the top of my head. Thank you.
I took the liberty of looking it up for you.
Thanks. I really appreciate it. All right. So anyway, Mask went on to do the racing series of toys in 1987, and of course they also had the racing series, the 10 episodes in 1986. So that'll be 30. So those 10 episodes will be 35 years old next year.
Oh my.
Yep. And see, look, there's some more lyrics trackers going to lead the mission. But the second season show only had 10 episodes, and it was a stark change because here's what was interesting. In the first season, no one in Venom knew who the mask agents were. In the racing series, they knew who everybody was. I was like, huh? Okay. And then,
Ooh,
what?
I like that comic book cover.
Yeah.
So we got the whole comic book, huh?
Yeah, you get all 52 pages.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, let's see, those last 10 episodes somehow never made it to the Shout Factory version. I had to order from England to get all 75. And by the way, you don't even have to go that far anymore. All 75 are on YouTube. So, let's see. But anyway, now to this day, Stone, Noble, McCain, and Halloran are all still friends. Noble shares we forged personal friendships, and we are still close friends today. We still function as a loving family who share warm memories of an exciting time in our lives. And Stone also looks back at that time with fondness. I find it fascinating that the two characters I'm known the most for, Matt Tracker and, you're not going to believe this one, Psycho Mantis, Psycho Mantis from the Metal Gear Solid series of video games.
Metal Gear Solid. Oh God.
Yep, are so unalike and were voiced at very different times. It simply goes to show that one can never predict what will resonate with fans. All we can do as performers is give our all to each characterization and hope that it resonates with those who are listening. And by the way, I did a little bit of looking up on Doug Stone. He actually has voiced characters on Digimon Data Squad. He's voiced in a few animes. He did a few on Cowboy Bebop. It's like, what? Yeah, and then of course they had a series of toys called Split Second, where it's like you can have like a secondary character flying a second vehicle. Unfortunately, that didn't really pan out very well. And then of course, in 2016 they did a new mass comic book. Now, Matt Tracker, of course, was African American. Me personally, I had no problem with that. Okay, the problem I had was they made him a juvenile delinquent. So it's like, why did you do that? But yeah, to be honest, I had no problem with it. Unfortunately, there were people who did have a problem with it. So, but it, but the petition fizzled out. The restored Matt Tracker crowd did everything they could to trash the series publicly. They invaded forums, blocked coverage on their social media sites, and totally refused to have a conversation, even when he was trying to reach out as a show of goodwill. There was considerable negativity surrounding the title from folks who had never even read a single issue. It's like I said, I had no problem with it, but I really wish they did not make him a juvenile delinquent. That was my turn off personally. So, but yeah, there's more to this article and such. Let's see. From a toy line that only lasted a couple years, 35 years ago, it's still surprisingly popular. And here's some reasons why. As a kid, the toys have a great playability. Here's a vehicle I can do two things with. I can drive or fly or swim or whatever you call what Rhino does. Become a headquarters. Plus, there's the puzzle aspect. There are secrets and fun in the mode changing that's really cool. As an adult, there's a fantasy when you're driving that you could pull a lever and start flying or whatever. I mean, I don't really want to get into a helicopter car chase laser fight, but I kind of like thinking about it. That's John Barber. Let's see. It seemed to connect with many kids on a very deep level. Perhaps part of it was that Matt was a single dad, raising Scott on his own. Some of the fans I've spoken to who were from the broken homes or felt neglected growing up related to Matt as a father figure. That was said by Doug Stone. There was something in the Mass series that struck a chord with young boys at the time. I think part of it is the father son relationship between Matt and Scott. And of course, T Bob was a novelty. That's Sharon Noble. Mass was released at the perfect time when kids' genre action adventure zeitgeist was red hot. It mixed the coolest elements of both Transformers and G.I. Joe. It managed to connect with fans across the world, and nothing on the planet could top that theme song. That's Brandon Easton, and that is so true. That is like one of the best theme songs ever. Yeah, and one more thing. We're almost out of time. We're running out of time, but hey, well, at least we got it all done. Now, here's something else. In case you want to know, Doug Stone. Listen to this. If fans are interested in an autograph from Doug Stone, of course, the voice of Matt Tracker, you can actually contact him. And here's what you do: you send to this address. I'm not going to say it on the air. You can read it. But what he will do is he will send an autographed mass photo. Please include a self-addressed stamped envelope. Best to have a piece of cardboard inside and a check for $10 or more made out to Kitty Bungalow. The Kitty Bungalow Charm School for Wayward Cats is a nonprofit no-kill cat rescue.
I love the name of the cat rescue.
Yeah, I like it too. The Kitty Bungalow Charm School for Wayward Cats is a nonprofit no-kill cat rescue. Stone volunteers at the rescue and serves on its board. And recently, there had been something called an auction, Voice for the Voiceless charity auction. One of the prizes was a personal voice message from Matt Tracker. I won it.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
And it was just 20. And you know what's the fun part? It was just $25.
Not bad.
No.
Bad.
And here's what's really interesting. When the Screen Actors Guild healthcare plan was really getting into a hot streak, of course Doug Stone he was losing benefits too because they're not getting the residuals and such. But he was talking about ResistBot. It's like, wait a minute, I just used ResistBot to help write the letter to about the USPS to my Congresspeople, and we contacted each other by email. So I gave him a little more information on it. So it's like I have his email address, but I swear to God, I am not going to use it for anything. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I'm laughing at these face masks. Looking through the file you sent me,
Yeah,
and they have these face masks. You know, the masks you got to wear out.
yeah. Mhm.
I like this one so far. It's the most reasonably priced out of most of them. It's a blank VHS tape,
Yeah.
an Iron Man,
Uh huh.
and a Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
How many of you out there remember the Commodore 64 computer?
I had
I
one.
do.
I had
On
one.
me.
They got a face mask with the Commodore 64 logo across it.
Yeah.
There's one with Pac-Man and Outrun.
Yeah.
The
Here it
Muppet
is.
Show,
Mhm.
and the regular Nintendo. I have
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's on pages 6 and 7.
And they can get them through Retrofy.
Mhm. Yeah, but that's pretty interesting. But anyway, basically, congratulations to the Flintstones for 60 years, Thunderbirds for 55 years, and Mask for 35 years. It just goes to show that, some things age well with time. Even though they may look silly, I still remember the bad puns on Mask.
Like T-Bob
Yeah,
and
like
I
I'm going to get
regret
shorted out by
that
ice
I
cream.
have but
Yep.
one life to give for my
By
ice
ice
cream.
cream.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there were some bad puns in there too. It was so cheesy, but worth it.
Hey, what type of cheesy? Cottage cheesy? Brie
No.
cheesy? Cheddar cheesy?
No, just plain cheesy.
These
Yeah.
dreams are made of cheese.
Yep. Who am I to disagree?
Brie. Oh,
I travel the world in the feta cheese.
yeah. Reminds me of the routine Don Juan and Miguel used to do. They'd bounce types of cheeses off of one another. And I forget what his partner had said before, but Miguel said, I hope it becomes a cottage industry.
Good one.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Welcome to Bad Puns R Us. No,
Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, I know there's another big anniversary next month. Gem 35.
All right, we can do that one next month.
Yeah, that's next month. I believe it's October 17th. I'll double check that date. But I mean, there are a lot of tunes celebrating anniversaries. So, well, I still can't believe the Flintstones is 60 years old, and it was tonight. First ever primetime cartoon. So, of course, Johnny Quest 4 years later became the first primetime adventure cartoon.
I liked both the Real Adventures of Johnny Quest
Mm-hmm.
as well as the original,
Yeah,
but I didn't like it when they had Rest sounding like John Wayne.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, Race Bannon sounded like a Southern. It's like, no, that is not how race is supposed to sound. But we hope you enjoyed this night of nostalgia because that's basically what this is.
Nostalgia night, huh?
Yeah, nostalgia, memories, fun, you know. And I do apologize for the technical difficulties we had earlier.
Stuff happens.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, just a quick reminder. Tomorrow night is Rant Rocket Thursday. I'll go to Rant Rocket Wednesday next week. And then Friday is Nearly Naughty Mad Libs once again.
Boy, where has the time gone?
Good question. And hey, like I've said, I'm glad if there's one thing I love about Twitch, if you mess up, you can start over.
Indeed.
Thank
Thank you,
good.
Twitch.
It's like thank you Twitch. This is probably one of the best reasons we changed because we were with our other one, Blog Talk Radio. It's like once you lose it, you lose it. That's it.
Yep.
All right. So anyway, let's do the ending here. Hang on for about 10 seconds. All right. So I'm just gonna say love, peace, and chicken grease. Everybody have a great night. Sleep well. Stay safe. And we will see you tomorrow for Rant Rocket Thursday. So everybody have a great night. Good night, everybody.
Night,
Jana.
everyone. See you tomorrow.
Buenas noches, mis amigos.
Buenas tardes.